Hi, we're Matt and Mary Lamb, and this is Lambs on the Lamb in Costa Rica. This is our middle-class, midlife makeover here in Costa Rica. We've been here 5 weeks now. We wanted to share some thoughts, observations, and things like that.
Reflections.
Reflections, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Big thing that if you're researching Costa Rica, some of these things I didn't necessarily know, and I did copious amounts of research for over a year, and some of these things still surprise me. One thing that did not surprise me, and there's lots of videos on, and this is true and it will change your life, is the sidewalks here are often uneven and or pitted and or steep and or have potholes and are always an ankle and a trip hazard. 100% of the time.
Yep.
You cannot be tooling around on your phone and walking simultaneously.
No.
You will die.
At the very least, you'll face plant.
Yeah, and the potholes, ankle holes really, mainly from the water meters for each house along the street. So there's a hole about yay big in front of every single house. Sometimes there's four of them together or business. So there's, anyway, you cannot walk and be on your phone. You've got to watch every step that you take, every move that you make, because they'll be watching you. Those holes will be watching you.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these people are not old enough to remember the police, babe.
Driving in Costa Rica.
Okay, now let me preface what he's about to say by saying that he is a professional driver, okay? He has his CDL. People pay him to drive places. So take heed to what he says about driving.
Well, they pay me to drive places and carry heavy things, very heavy things.
Yes.
So motorcycles here, they drive anywhere they want to, however they want to, as fast as they want to, whenever they want to.
And laws, like driving laws, are more guidelines, really. It's just a suggestion.
Kind of like a suggestion to an 18-year-old about cleaning their room. Kind of has the same effect on motorcycle drivers in the laws here. It's
Right.
meh.
They will pass you on the left. They will pass you on the right. They will cross the double yellow to get around. Does not even matter. And there are lots of them.
Yes, tons and tons of them. The most alarming thing to me is being on the interstate here is Costa Rica 1, come around a curve and a motorcycle will be coming at you in your lane because he's passing somebody coming at you the other way. You can't just drive and look forward like you can in the States and think about wonderful things.
No.
You have to constantly be looking behind you, beside you, in front of you to see where these motorcycles might be coming from next. And they don't have the same safety things here, like their headlights don't have to be on all the time. Motorcycles will be driving daytime, granted it's daytime, but they blend into the scenery just because they're small and going quickly and they don't have any lights on during the day.
I will say though, because there are so many more motorcycle and moped type drivers here, I mean lots and lots more. I would say 20 to 25% of the vehicles on the road are motorcycles.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
So it's much more, you're much more aware of them because they are everywhere. And so you do get a pretty quick sense of, I need to have my head on a swivel so that I don't lose track of these guys. If I saw one in my rearview mirror and I don't see him now, then I better look for him because he's around me somewhere.
He's probably parked in your blind spot going 40 kilometers an hour
Right.
and you can't see him or hear him.
Right.
Intersections in Costa Rica when you're driving, they're dicey. Particularly in town here in San Ramon. When you get to the intersection and stop and you look left and right, there's cars parked on both sides of the street all the way to the corner. And it is almost impossible to see if traffic is coming without pulling into the intersection so that you can see around the cars that are parked on the street perpendicular to you. Additionally, pedestrians are trying to pop out in front of you. Additionally, some of the intersections have stops one way and it's flow through the other way. Some of the intersections have a stop sign with a stop painted on the pavement and a traffic light. So the traffic light is green, you ignore the stop sign and the stop on the ground. If the traffic light is red, then you do. So the intersections here you really gotta be paying attention.
Right. Well, plus, even when you have a stop sign, say you have the right of way and these two people have the stop sign, they're halfway out in the intersection. Because like he said, they're trying to see past those parked cars. And so you're thinking they're not gonna stop. They are, unless you slow down and give them a moment, and then they'll drive right past you. So it's a very different type of intersection. I've always been a real stickler for stop signs. Here, forget it. Nope, you're just,
You pull up to an intersection, it's a perpetual game of chicken.
yes.
And you really got to be
Yes.
paying attention. Inconsistent signage about the intersections
Right.
coming up and whether you can or cannot turn left or right,
Right.
whether it's one way or not coming up.
Right.
You really, really got to pay attention and know your way around. And the only way to know your way around is to do it and go and
Yes.
drive the wrong way on a one-way street,
Yes.
which I have done, and have to back all the way up down the street. So you just learn.
Yep. And I will say, Matt has done most of the driving since we've been here. I have driven a few times. Last week I drove to the feria all by myself to the farmer's market. I was very proud of that. But I was white knuckling it the whole time because I mean, again, my head was on a swivel. I was looking for motorcycles. I was looking for pedestrians. I was trying to see if I had the stop sign or somebody else had the stop sign before I got to the intersection so I wouldn't, look like an idiot. It was very, very nerve-wracking. Got my heart rate up. Maybe I burned some calories.
Right, yeah, maybe so. So all the driving we're talking about up to this point pretty much has been in the city of San Ramon, so town
Right.
driving.
Or on the highway to San Jose, the capital.
Exactly, so mountain roads here. So all of the other roads that aren't the major interstate, I keep saying that word and it's just not the right
It doesn't
word.
feel right.
No, it doesn't. Are these mountain roads and they're twisty, windy, herons, looks like something
And
you'd
the
see on
angles of these things.
Tour de France, and it's just crazy. So those are interesting as well. They're very narrow. There's a lot of one-lane bridges still, so you'll have a yield sign when you come up to a one-lane bridge. You know you've got to wait until everybody's done coming at you. Then it's your turn.
Yep.
The mountain roads are they're very unforgiving. It's very steep up one side and very steep off the other. You make a wrong turn, you're ending up in a ravine, probably not doing so well down there.
Right, right. Something else we've learned about is how often you're going to need your passport. You don't just show it to the customs agent or the TSA guy in the airport and then put it away for the rest of your trip. You have to have that out to have purchases, or to make purchases. So if you are making anywhere from about a $100 to about a $500 purchase, you're going to need your passport, and they're going to want to see the date stamp to make sure that you are still within your tourist visa. Like official transactions, like at the bank or the government, you have to have your physical passport. So like if you have gotten a passport in the last several years, you probably also got a passport card. Those mean nothing to anyone here. They've never seen them. They don't know what they're for. They don't take them.
You paid extra for it to get it from, at least in the United States. Congratulations, good for you. I did the same thing as well. Worthless.
Yeah, worthless. And something that we have done several times is we took a picture of our passport, the passport page, as well as the page that had the date stamp on it. And that will work sometimes.
One of the things that I noticed is about coming to Costa Rica, I had done a lot of research, as I said many times before we came.
A lot of research.
I realized that my research was kind of muddied and I was left confused by the distinction between permanent residents and those of us on tourist visas. So I think this is probably because the YouTube channels that I was watching, varied as they were, those folks have been here for years and have been residents for years. When you are first coming here, you are not going to be a resident. You're going to be on a tourist visa, more than likely, having to do 6-month border runs to go in and out of the country. There is a number of things here in Costa Rica that you can and cannot do if you're on a tourist visa. For example, you cannot have a cell phone account. You can have a prepaid plan and buy minutes up front, but you cannot have a cell phone account. You cannot have a bank account with more than $1,000 in it. You can get a bank account, I believe, but it can't have more than $1,000 in it. So my confusion arose from the videos that I was watching. I was assuming they were talking to me, the tourist visa person coming in and out every 6 months, when in reality they were talking about themselves and their peer group, who are all now permanent residents from either buying property or being here a certain number of years,
Or
or
they're retired.
pensiones types things. So understand that distinction when you're watching these other videos. See if they differentiate, and hopefully they make it more clear that yes, you can have this great cell phone plan if you are a resident. If you're not a resident, you got to go prepaid. And
Right. And there are complications there, and we'll get to that in a different video once we've got it all figured out.
Exactly. Another good resource there's various Facebook groups, meta groups in every city. There's one here in San Ramon. That's San Ramon, Costa Rica Info, I think is the name of the Facebook group. Regardless, whether you're in Grecia, Atenas, San Jose, there are Facebook groups that are great resources of expats specifically that you can ask questions, say you're looking for a doctor, you can throw that out there and get other people's experiences. Great resource. And at the same time, if you ask a question that requires a yes or no answer, you'll get 4 yeses, 3 nos, and 27 maybes with an explanation. So it's not always a cut and dried resource for fact finding and for finding the information that you need quickly.
Yeah, but it does give you information, and then you can make your decisions from there. Or you can then go to a different Facebook group and say, okay, I've asked this question somewhere else. What do y'all think? And maybe you'll get some more definitive answers there. Because like you said, there are so many different Facebook groups dedicated to living in Costa Rica, moving to Costa Rica, being an expat in Costa Rica, whatever it is. So
a quick example of that is we were here, have a rental car, wanted to go into San Jose to buy some things we couldn't find here in San Ramon. And Google Maps, which you really shouldn't use here, I just happened to look it up that way, was telling me that there was date restrictions based on the last number of your license plate. And I was confused about that. I posed it to our Facebook group, and one of the answers I got was, oh, that was just during the pandemic. It's fine now. You can go into town whenever you want. That is not true. That is not the case. I actually researched it and found out as of a couple weeks ago, there are restrictions for driving in San Jose based on the last digit of your license plate. It's a small exclusionary thing. For example, if your plate ends in a 1 or 2, you can't be in San Jose on a Monday. Any other day you can be there.
Yep.
If your plate ends 2 or 3 or 4, you can't be there on Tuesday, but you can be there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And that includes rental cars. Even if you're just renting your car, that would be a day that you should not go into San Jose. Because again, like you say, 1 and 2 are banned on Monday, 3 and 4 are banned on Tuesday, 5 and 6 on Wednesday, 7 and 8 on Thursdays, which means we shouldn't go to San Jose on Thursdays because our license plate currently ends in a 7. 9s and 0s are banned on Fridays.
Which is the day of the week that we were there.
Right, of course.
Because we didn't know, because I was going under what this guy said on the Facebook group. Do your own research. Be thorough.
For sure. And then weekends are fine. Anybody can go into San Jose on the weekends.
Or if you have an electric vehicle, 100% electric vehicle, you can go anywhere, anytime in San Jose. They're really trying to encourage that.
Right.
I'm sure in your research you've seen things back and forth about, do I need colones, the official Costa Rican currency, when I come to Costa Rica? Some people say yes, some people say no. Most people agree don't get your money changed at the airport. They're going to charge you way more than...
Right, their exchange rate leaves something to be desired.
Absurd. Maybe you can get some there a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, as soon as you get into the country, don't make it your first stop, but you need to get colones pretty darn quick.
Yes.
We ran into a problem heading back to San Jose. We had arrived here on February 8th. Spent a couple days, realized we needed to buy some stuff at this Walmart in San Jose, drove back to San Jose. There's a toll road between San Jose and San Ramon. We didn't have any colones.
And we didn't have a quick pass because it was a rental car, so you can get a quick pass just like you can in the States, but we didn't have one.
No, they don't take a card. They don't take current dollars. They wanted colones, basically. And so we're stuck at this toll booth. I had to just put my hazards on and wait there as traffic is piling up behind us and people are honking like, what the heck's going on? We're like, sorry, the gringo doesn't have any of your currency here in your country.
Right.
So I would strongly encourage you to get some currency.
I would say also, a lot of places are going to take cards, so you're good there. And a lot of places, well, if you're in the city, in the major cities, then some play American dollars. But if you're in a more rural area, they're either not going to be set up for a card, and they're not going to take American dollars because what would they want with American dollars?
They don't know they don't know the exchange rate like you and I do because we've studied it. They don't care what the exchange rate is.
They want cold hard cash, and so like when you go to the farmers market, they want colones. And so you do need to be sure that you have cash on hand. And that is something that we noticed in the time that we've been here is we use a lot more cash here than we do back in the States.
And cash, we keep saying cash, we mean colones.
Right.
Costa Rican currency, not US dollars. Not US dollars.
Right.
So like the small sodas, little small restaurants, we want colones. There's this pizza place here in San Ramon. Colones only.
Yep. He does not take cards. Right.
Yes.
So something else that I want to mention is when you come to visit here for an extended period of time, 3 to 6 months or longer, or you move here, you will have regrets. You will have second thoughts, and that's okay. It's kind of like, well, I'm not gonna say it's kind of like getting married because maybe those cold feet you should pay attention to, but you will have regrets. You will have second thoughts, and that's okay. You're gonna think of things that you should have brought. Oh, why did I leave that behind? Oh, why did I get rid of that thing? You are going to think of ways that you could have done things differently. I should have started packing sooner. I should have done a pack to make sure right amount, as opposed to thinking you had enough space and you didn't, or thinking you didn't have space and you really had plenty. So there are definitely things that you are going to regret. It does not mean you've done anything wrong. It doesn't mean you made a bad choice. It just means that maybe you need a little more time in country to really make a good decision for you. Maybe you need to spend time in a different city. Maybe you need to spend time in a different area of the country. So just give yourself a break, give yourself a chance to learn the country, be patient with yourself. Everyone here is going to be patient with you, so you might as well be patient with yourself.
Right, exactly. And those things that you may have regrets about, I had done a lot of research. I'm sure you're doing your research, and people share their stories of the issues they had. And you can only gather so many scenarios. Certainly we could tell you specifically what our regrets are. That's just one couple's unique situation
Right.
that we were in, and all the specifics that go with that. And it may not apply to anybody else ever moving to Costa Rica the rest of this year.
Right.
We don't know. So we can only say, do your research, look at the big things, and then give yourself some slack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's Puerto Vita style down here.
Pura vida, baby.
Another Puerto Vita thing is to like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you're thinking, what questions you may have, and
Share.
please share. Yeah, your friends are curious about why you're looking into Costa Rica. Tell them, hey, this is why I'm looking into Costa Rica. Check out some of our other videos when you get a chance. No, actually, do it now. Pura Vida.